Now, I know a thing or two about being ghosted. I also know a thing or two about ghosting, okay? Now listen, today I'm an upstanding citizen. I treat these men right. I do. I'm good, I'm honest, I'm all that good stuff. But back in the day, there were times where, I was starting and bopping out in these streets, honey. I was, And I've ghosted a man in my day. I did. Bless my heart, I did. Y'all want to hear the story? Y'all want to hear the story? Now, y'all know, if you listen to me right now, y'all know sometimes I can be nasty. Okay? Y'all already know that, okay? So if you're not looking for the real story, the full thing, cut this shit off, all right, baby? Because I'm not holding shit back, all right? And don't be commenting on my page. MJ, I love you, but if you could just cuss less. Nah, fuck that shit, baby. Let me tell you the story, okay? And click share on this thing. Click share, click share, click share, click share. Okay? So let me tell you the story, okay? I just gotten out of a relationship. I'm going to preface it by saying that matters. And there's always a lesson in my stories. I just got out of a relationship. And, it was a hurtful breakup. He was hurt. I was hurt. We just wanted to move on with our lives. You know what I mean? So one day I was like, let me go out and hang out with one of my friends. So we went to dinner that night. We went to dinner just to hang out. And while at dinner, the guy who, one of the servers, he wasn't a server, he was a host, kept walking by my table. Now for me, honey, I've learned I can tune men out or I can see every last one of them. But in that night, I was tuning them out. I was focused on my friend. So he's walking. I'm not paying him any attention. Then my friend says to me, hold up, that guy keeps walking by the table. You don't see him? I was like, who? Honey, who? He says, him. And I looked up, baby, he was fine as hell. He was fine as hell. Listen, so I'm bold. You know what I mean? I'm thinking, honey, mother just had a divorce. See where I'm going? I just got out of a relationship. Not a divorce, you know what I mean. I just got out of a relationship, honey, and towards the end of my relationship, just being honest with you, I wasn't getting none, okay? Because we wasn't liking each other, and I can't have sex with you if I don't like you. You know what I mean? The coochie closes up, it just shuts down when I don't like you, when I'm mad at you. So I was in need, honey, and I needed a release, okay? And so I said, oh, he's cute. So you know what I did? I strutted right up to that host stand. I said, hold on to my friend. I strutted right up to the host stand. And he's standing there with another host. And she looks up at me and was like this. And then taps him on the shoulder, like, turn around. So now I'm going to tell you, I was in my 20s, okay? So I was much more bolder back then. He turns around. He's like, oh, hi. And I was like, my friend says you keep on walking by my table. Is that true? And then he says, yeah, did y'all see me? I was like, my friend saw you. But then when he pointed you out, I said, I need to speak to you. So I had my little business card, reach in my pocket. There you go. Here's my business card. Hit me up. My cell phone's the last number on there. And he says, okay. That night, honey, because he was not waiting that long. That night at 11:01, and I know it's 11:01 because I looked at the clock. He must got off at 11. At 11:01, my phone ringing. Hey, how you doing? I'm great. Who is this? Who is this? He says, oh, this is so-and-so from the restaurant earlier. I said, oh, it's nice to talk with you. And I was like, what are you up to? It sounds like you're like driving or something. He's like, yeah, I just got in my car leaving work. I said, and you called me immediately? He was like, yeah, I was really looking forward to talking to you. I said, oh, that's so sweet. And I said, well, what are you doing right now? He's like, I was thinking I would head home. I was like, well, I'm texting you my address. Don't head home. Head here. Now, I told y'all I was young and fast, honey. I was starting and bopping in these streets, okay? I tell these men, I say, listen, if you want somebody who can wear a white dress down the aisle, I'm not that bitch, honey, okay? Because I come with experience and skills, okay? And it was hard for it. I got it out in the battlefields, okay? So anyway, I was a hoe a little bit. And so I was, but y'all need to own the shit, own that y'all was too sometimes. Some of y'all still are. So he came right by. He comes through the door, sits on the sofa. I said, it's so nice to meet you. And I said, would you like a drink? Would you like anything to eat? Anything like that? He's like, nah, I'm good. And he's like, I guess I'm just kind of nervous. I didn't expect to be here tonight. I didn't expect to meet you. I didn't expect any of this. I didn't expect any of this. And I'm like, oh, you're so sweet. And he says, do you have a man? I said, why would you ask that? He said, because there's somebody's shoes there, and they way bigger than yours by the door. Child, I told you I just broke up with the man just previous that he ain't got all his stuff out the house yet. And I said, no, baby, I ain't got no man anymore, honey. That's just some stuff he left here. He'll get it soon. He says, is he coming tonight? I said, no, baby. We broke up. He just left a couple things. I said, focus on me. Don't focus on those. Childs and burst. But anyway, so we sitting there and he's like, tell me about yourself and all that. He is so nervous. It was so adorable. And honey, I like a little nervous energy because I turn it on just a little higher with that nervous energy. So as he's talking, I'm leaning in, using all of my good energy, pouring on all that feminine energy onto him. Touches me as he's talking. Okay, you hear where I'm going with this, honey? And every little thing he says, one thing I rub on his face. She's so sweet. Ciao. Next thing I know, right, he's sitting there and we had a little moment where we're laughing, you kind of stop and you just make eye contact for a prolonged period of time. You know what I'm talking about? And your heart start pounding. And I was like, it's time, honey. By this time, he's at my house. It's like probably 1 o'clock in the morning. So we've been talking for almost 2 hours. And so I grabbed his hand and I was like, do you have somewhere to be in the morning? He was like, no. I was like, good. Child grabbed his hand and walked him into the bedroom. And when I tell you this, honey, I threw this thing on him so good. And do you know why I threw this thing on him so good? I'm going to tell you why. I threw it on him for every angry thing that my ex said to me before we broke up. I threw it on him because I just need to be touched. You ever had those moments where you just need to be touched, honey? I just had a breakup, honey. So what he was getting was all of my good, but he was also getting all of just that pent up stuff in me. You know what I mean? Baby, I threw this thing on him. Next morning, I woke up, right before he got up, went in the kitchen, threw something together, you know, just some breakfast, you know what I mean? Just some pancakes, just you know, some potatoes. That's it. Just some eggs, just some bacon. That was it. Nothing much. I didn't do a whole lot. You know what I mean? Not a whole lot. And I woke him up. I was like, here you go. Here's a plate. Now, why would I do that? Because I wore him out, honey. And I said, I understand. I know how to treat a man, honey. I know how to treat a man. Made him a plate. And I said, well, you have a good day. I'm expecting I'm not going to hear from him no more, right? I'm like, he must think I am the biggest hoe on earth, okay? I met him at the restaurant, invited him to my home, threw this thing on him, flirted relentlessly. He ain't calling me. How long you think it took him to call me when he left? Baby, he was texting me that afternoon saying, do you have plans this evening? I said, now I know my stuff is good, but damn, this evening? Well, I was used to having a man laying beside me in bed at night. I just become single, you know what I mean? It's hard to adjust to having that empty side of the bed. So I said, yeah, sure, come on over. He came over that night. And when he came over that night, he comes over with his laptop. I said, why do you have a laptop? He was like, I want to show you some things. He starts playing different songs to me. He's like, I just want you to kind of get a sense of who I am. And I think the best way to get a sense of who I am is through hearing the music that I like. I was like, that's sweet. Had that. He had a little bottle of wine. And he just plays me music on top of music that he loves. He's like, what's some of the music you love? I played him my music, and we went on YouTube, and we start playing, hey, have you ever seen this video of this person singing this? Have you ever seen this video of that? We start going through our YouTube hits, our YouTube favorites. So, you know, when you show people your YouTube stuff, honey, your YouTube save videos, you know you really bonding. Child, went to bed that night, and it was even better that next night. I mean, that night when we had sex. And he would come by maybe 2-3 times a week, for that following month. Now this is where it gets a little racy, just a little racy, okay? Cause I remember the moment like it was yesterday. I'm gonna get to Miss Girl's letter here because I'm gonna give her some advice. So we get in bed. Now we all grown now, okay? We all grown. So if you think that my story, tell me I always ask y'all this and y'all are so nasty, y'all. I know the answer you're gonna give me, but I need confirmation today. Should I give it to you PG? Or should I give it to you the way it really happened? Tell me, comment below, honey, and hit share a couple times and let me know you shared it, okay? When you say share, that means you want me to give it to you real. Just let me know. Comment below, okay? Give me a couple thumbs up, honey, and let me know how you want me to give it to you. Do you want me to give it to you? You want me PG or the way it really happened? Okay. So, I'll tell you the way it really happened. Y'all are nasty. Y'all are nasty. You should be ashamed of yourselves. I'll tell you. So, listen. So, he used to like me to get on top and ride. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying about that part. That's what he liked, honey. I thought it was because he was lazy, but he wasn't lazy. You know, people he wasn't lazy. He was putting in work, but he liked to see me. I said, why do you like to see me? He said, just because I like the way the silhouette of your body looks up there. I was like, child, me? So I remember the moment, honey. I'm up there. And then everything I do, I put on a show, honey. I'm putting on a show, honey. I'm putting on a show. You know what I mean, honey? If you're not putting on a show, then why are you here? You see what I'm saying? I'm putting on a show, honey. I'm putting on a show, honey. And that's how I tell these girls. I say, if you're going to be with your man, put on a show, honey. Put on a show, honey. You be his best fantasy. He don't need to be looking at no computer and no phones to find no fantasy. You be his fantasy, honey. So I'm putting on a show, honey. I believe in putting on shows. So I'm putting on shows, honey. You know what I mean? Talk back to him, honey. Don't be silent, honey. Don't be no dead piece of fish just laying there, baby. I'm putting on a show. And I'm looking down at him. Giving him these old smoldering eyes. And I'm looking down at him, and he looking up at me like his eyes he don't know what to do with himself. And I said, oh, fuck. You know why I said, oh, fuck? Because as he's going, he's like, he don't even know what to say. But then he muttered out of his lips, fuck, I love you. Child. It got real in that moment. It went from fun to real in that moment, okay? Like I said, I met him right after a breakup, honey. My bed sheets weren't even cooled off before I let him in them, okay? You see what I'm saying? He was just the man to come kiss the lonely away. He was just the D.O.D. He brought nice conversation. I wasn't looking for a new husband. You see what I'm saying? So, honey, I'm up here sweating. He said that, so I looked at him, and I was like, oh, you so sweet. And then we finished. Went to bed that night. Next morning, got up. I ain't cooked breakfast that next morning. I didn't. Y'all don't judge me. I didn't. And then I was like, well, I have to have a kind of an early start to my day today. Sent him on his way. He called me up that night. Can I come by? Oh, baby, I'm busy. The next night, how you doing? You feeling good? Didn't respond to the next day. I didn't. I'm so sorry. I was so busy. I missed your message. I just trailed him off, like gave him less and less. He kept calling. Kept texting. No stalker kind of craziness and nothing like that, honey. I know that the coochie can be good enough to drive a man crazy, but fortunately his mind was wrapped tight. So let me tell you what happened. So one day, he just drops by my house. Drops by. Now I lived in a building. I've always lived in very secure buildings, doorman, all that kind of stuff. So security says, "Hey, he's downstairs." They said, "Who?" They said, "The young man that comes by." I said, "Oh." They said, "Should we send him up?" I said, "No, I'll come down. So I come down. I was like, "Hey, how are you, baby? How you been? How you been, baby? What's going on? He says, "Why are you doing me like this?" why you doing me like this? I said, doing you like what, baby? Like what, baby? Of course I gotta act dumb. And I was in my 20s too, so I didn't know how to communicate. I was young. You know, out here just starting and bopping in these streets, reckless. Just reckless with these men's hearts. I was like, what do you mean, baby? And he's like, I'm fucking in love with you. I was like, really? He's like, how can I not be? I spent almost every night with you. We talk about such intimate things. How could I not be? I've given you my body, you've given me yours. How could I not be in love with you? I was like, well, I had no idea. I said, I told you I just got out of a relationship when we met. He said, but you didn't tell me you weren't ready for me. You kept giving me your energy. I was like, oh. I was like, well, I don't know. Maybe there's a misunderstanding. You know, things got busy, baby. Don't be mad. We'll get back together again. Yo, I feel so bad, but I'm going to tell you what happened next. He grabs my hands, like both my hands, like just to hold them. He was like, let me come upstairs with you. Let me come upstairs with you. I'm getting verklempt myself. Let me come upstairs with you. I said, Did I want some more? Yes. Honey, yes. Because he brought the pipe. Okay, every time. Did I want some more? Yes. But what I didn't want was the commitment and the connection because I was scared at that time. I was broken. I just had a relationship that it broke me in two. You hear what I'm saying? I wasn't ready for that. He grabs my hands and pulls me even closer to him, and then he wraps his hands around the small of my back, pulling me into him. He's like, I'm in love with you. Are you in love with me? That's a real direct question. And I may have been a hoe, but I wasn't gonna be a liar that day. So I looked at him, I said, baby, why are you asking me that? I'm trying to pull back. He pulled me back in. You know how they pull you from the small of your back, grab like both of your hips, just kind of pull you right in. He said, I asked you a question. Are you in love with me? I said, baby, no, I'm not. I'm not. This big grown man broke down crying right there. I mean, just let out just a old, just one of those. Child. My neighbors walking by, walking their dogs. But he is literally just pouring his face into my neck. And he big. So he just big. And I'm like, my neighbors looking at me like, what you do to that man? Child. Had to get him together. Sent him on his way because I still didn't let him come upstairs. I didn't. Honey, I thought it would be wrong to let him still come upstairs. He showed me his feelings. I had to be honest about mine. If I know what would have happened, if I let him come upstairs, I would have given him some just out of sympathy that would have made him even closer to me. That would have been an act of abuse against him emotionally, right? You can't give him this, honey. You can't just do that, honey. You don't put spells on these men like that, okay? I'm being honest with y'all. You're fussing about these men being fuckboys and shit. I'm telling you, as a reformed fuckboy, what happens. Y'all can understand the mindset. That's why I teach all these things, honey. I've lived on both sides of the table. I sent him on his way. And I eventually called him about a day or so later, and I apologized to him. He says, well, you do understand I cannot be in communication with you anymore. I said, why? He said, because I can't. I gotta protect my heart. I understood, and we moved on from there. Here's the lesson that you gotta remember, okay? It's your responsibility when you meet somebody, okay? This woman wrote in talking about she met somebody however long ago. They talk, got intimate, and he ghosted her. It's very important that when you meet somebody, especially if you know you're looking for love, it's very important that you take responsibility for your heart. I'm gonna be honest with you about this, okay? It's your responsibility to say up front what you're looking for. Tell the person, I'm looking for a relationship, right? Tell the person, I'm looking to be connected. Be honest with yourself. I know that when I'm fucking around with somebody and I'm having sex with them enough and when I'm spending time with them, I'm bound to fall in love, okay? Y'all know who you are, okay? You're not some teenager just figuring life out. You know who you are, honey. I know for sure. For me, you hit these spots just right, hit the corners just right, spend good time with me just right, I'm bound to fall for you. I am, honey. I have fallen for some trash ass men because they stuck around long enough, treated me good enough, and we was having sex. Okay? I know myself. It is imperative that you know yourself and that you be honest with people up front about what you're looking for. Okay? I don't care who it is, be honest. Don't do this whole mess around, I'm just seeing where things go, I'm just seeing where things go, right? But to that effect, it's imperative for you to be honest with people up front about where you're at and what you're not ready for, okay? In this situation, I know I sound like I was terrible, and I was, but there were two people at fault here. It was me at fault for not being honest with him about saying, I'm not ready for a relationship. I know that we may just be having sex, but I want to be clear with you. This is where it stops, okay? So you can keep on calling on my phone, coming around here trying to get some more of this good loving, all right? But just know this is where it stops because I'm not emotionally capable of going beyond this point. Right now, I don't have the emotional capacity or bandwidth to love you. All right? So I just got out of a relationship. That was my responsibility that I failed. I told him I just got out of a relationship and assumed that he should know where I was at emotionally, but he didn't. That was the lesson on my side. The lesson on his side, and this was years ago. We've talked since then, right? That's why I can share this with you, okay? And we've talked about this because he was the one who shared this with me about the lesson on his side. He said to me, the lesson for him in looking back at that situation was that he should have been upfront with me to say, hey, I am ready for a relationship. I am ready for more. And even though tonight may feel like it's starting as a one-night stand, I just need you to know where my heart and where my head is at. Because if you understand where my heart and where my head is at and what my deepest desires are, which is to be in a relationship, then you'll understand that with greater connection and greater intimacy, my heart and my head is going to start to desire that from you. Are you okay with that? To know that if you keep on giving me this good loving and this good time, I might fall for you. So we both failed ourselves and ended up causing pain for ourselves because we weren't honest with ourselves or one another up front about what we were looking for. Let me tell you this, okay? There are dishonest people out here in these streets. Yes, there are dishonest people. There are hurtful people. There are people who are out here who are just trying to take your goodies and run. Absolutely. But I have a belief that most people don't have negative intentions. What I believe is that most broken hearts, these ghosting situations, all that kind of stuff, in a lot of cases, I think that they're a result of the same thing. A lack of communication up front from both parties about where they are, what they're looking for, and what they know that they are susceptible to once they become intimate with somebody. What I'm telling you is this, can't nobody break your heart when you're honest and open about what you're looking for from. Because here's the thing, when you tell people what you're looking for and you pay close attention to them to see where they're at, what's going to happen is when you're honest with somebody about what you're looking for, you're either going to scare them away because they're like, whoa, that's too much, or whoa, that's too little compared to what I'm looking for. Or they're going to say, you know what? That works perfectly for me. Let's go ahead and get this thing together, okay? You can't lose there. So the lesson in this, to the young woman who wrote in, to the young men out here dealing with this, to everybody out here who dealing with this kind of stuff, we out in these streets, honey. We out in these streets, people living their lives. I get it. Be honest with yourself and be honest with other people about what you're looking for and about what you expect, all right? Be honest about that kind of stuff. That way you don't have to worry about somebody fucking you over and you don't have to worry about fucking nobody else over because you weren't clear with them, all right? Hopefully this was helpful with y'all, honey. I don't mind sharing my secrets and sharing what's going on in my life because I think it helps y'all. Anyway, if this message was helpful, if you enjoyed it, darling, click share on this, click share on this, click share on this, so that other people can see it. And then also, what I want you to do is comment below and let me know what you think about it. Have a happy Black Friday.